Well, greetings and salutations, Flyers fans, and welcome back to the Clear the Ice, a Flyers postgame show here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Your boy, Matty B, on the call. That was not a good one. 5-2 Flyers lose tonight down there at the arena at the hands of the Toronto Maple Leafs in a game that saw the Flyers revert back to a lot of their old problems. Couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with their shots. Poor goaltending. Dan Vladar. Listen, great story. I'll give you that. It's been a great story through the first 10 games of the season, but I've been sort of picking this tendency up from game one with him. He does not do well from distance, and he does not do well when the puck is elevated. And tonight, the Toronto Maple Leafs took full advantage of that, and the defense in front of him was stout again. It was okay. It was really good. But in the 19 shots Vladar faced, he gives up 4 goals before getting yanked early in the third period for the recently recalled Alexei Kovaslov. Now, probably has to play again tomorrow because they're going back to back. And as a hockey coach, you're not pulling your starting goalie at all if you got a back to back and you're in the front end of the back to back, and you're going to have to go with the guy you're pulling or the guy that's going in tomorrow. So obviously, Tocchet saw enough or was not happy all night and was just waiting for that moment. But it had to be a real serious, get this guy out of here moment for Rick Tocchet in order to pull Vladar with a back-to-back. And the fact that Kovasov's going to have to go tomorrow, more than likely. Terrible goaltending tonight. And, of course, the power play. 1 for 6. Ugh. Jesus Christ, man. My kingdom for a power play, my absolute kingdom for this hockey team to figure out how to score goals on the advantage. Tired of it, man. It's just every year. But yes, the reason is, and again, this is another thing that crept back into the reality that is Philadelphia Flyer fandom. This team just is not talented enough right now. They're not. They're a great story, and I don't necessarily think they're going to have a lot of 5-2 losses. But I hate the way they play offense. I hate the distance game. I know the perimeter game is now part of the NHL. I understand that. But the Flyers do nothing offensively unless it's out. They don't go. They cannot. And there's a reason why they cannot play up front of the net. They're just not built that way. But every time something's in front of the net, the Flyers look overpowered, overmatched. It's pathetic. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. You got to find a way to blend the perimeter game with the down low game. And yes, NHL is a perimeter league now. Everything is from distance. They're taking advantage of these kids' ability to create space and to be very accurate from a distance. But you can't abandon the down low game. And the Flyers, because of necessity, yes, it's necessity, because they don't have the players that can bump and grind down low, are exclusively out in the perimeter. And when you're a poor shooting team, Owen friggin' Tippett, Jesus Christ, could somebody teach him how to hit the net? He's getting paid millions of dollars to shoot wide or clank crap off the crossbar. I mean, but when your only offense is perimeter and you can't hit the net, you're done, son. And the Flyers were done tonight, 5-2, falling to the Toronto Maple Leafs, to Scott Laughton-less Toronto Maple Leafs. Laughton not playing tonight due to an injury. Flyers did go, I guess we can sort of break this stuff down. But before I do, let's remind everybody that, again, as I mentioned, there's a back-to-back in store. No Eagles football, no problem, because the Flyers will be going at it against the Calgary Flames tomorrow night at the arena. Mike Laro we'll have you on the call post-game, Flyers Calgary. So make sure you're tuned in for all the outstanding Flyers action here this weekend on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. Let's get into this bad boy. Dan Vladar got the start for the Flyers, did not get the finish as he was yanked in the early stages of that third period. While he was in there, he was not very effective. Faced 19 shots, saved 15 of them, gave up 4 goals, finishes the night with a .789 save percentage. Woohoo! Now, again, let's talk about Dan Vladar. I touched on it. I'll continue to touch on it. He's been a great story. He has definitely taken the number one position away from Sam Ersson. I don't know if that's a testament to his skill or a testament to Sam Erson's lack of skill. But there's a reason why Dan Vladar was left unprotected by the Calgary Flames and was able to hit free agency, and there's a reason why he's bounced around. It's because he's not a starting goalie, and he's a backup himself. And tonight, he played every bit like a backup. Again, the recipe or the secret code, the cheat code for Dan Vladar is out there. Elevate your shot and shoot it outside. Just go to the perimeter, that dot, slot, maybe a little bit behind the slot, a little bit behind that dot, and just float it in on him. It's going to befuddle him. And if you can get a screen on him while you do it, you're really going to befuddle him. He struggles with it cleanly. He really struggles with it during the screen, but just not effective night for Vladar. Gave up 4 goals in 19 shots and said adios, senors and senoritas in the early part of the third period. Kovaslov came on aptly there in relief for the remainder of the third period, faced 7 shots and saved all of them. For the Maple Leafs, Anthony Stolarz got the nod, former Flyer farmhand who made good. He faced 33 shots. So the Flyers painfully outshot, or, not painfully, but Stolarz faced 33 and made 31 saves. Gave up 2 goals, finishes with a .939 save percentage. And he was looking every bit like freaking Dennis Potvin back there as the Flyers made him look really well tonight. Again, a lot of clanging, a lot of shot wide, a lot of rebounds that cannot be cleaned up because there's nobody up front. There's nobody that can get up front. There's nobody that can get separation up front. Just what the Flyers are offensively. And another note about the Maple Leaf goaltending situation. When did Caden Primeau join the Maple Leafs? That took me by a little bit of a surprise tonight. Before the son of former Flyer Keith Primeau. Primeau was drafted by the Canadiens. I had high hopes for him coming out. I thought he was a good, young, talented goalie. Never really kind of caught his stride with the Canadiens. They really tried to make him their goalie. I know he was traded last summer to Carolina. I had no clue that he ended up in Toronto. But apparently at some point after training camp, the Hurricanes DFA'd him, and he did not clear waivers as the Maple Leafs claimed him. So that is why Caden Primeau is playing for the Maple Leafs now. For those of you that were wondering about that, like I was. I don't know if anybody was, but I was wondering about that. But he did not get to start tonight as Stolarz played pretty damn good in his stay. Healthy scratches tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs. It was William Nylander, Steven Lorenz, and Philippe Myers, former Flyer. For the Flyers, healthy scratches, Nick Laurier, Sean Couturier, and Adam Ginning. Again, Scott Laughton was a scratch because he wasn't healthy because he just could not go, dealing with a lower body injury, as explained by his coach, Craig Berube. Let's get going in this thing. Let's break it down. There was a time, though, where the Flyers had the lead. The Flyers got going early in this game. Christian Dvorak skating with the new formed, I guess he's now the number 1 center. There he is. They're trying everything. They bumped him all the way up to the first line as he had the opportunity. And he had the opportunity early for the Flyers. Let's key this bad boy up. And let's talk about the first goal of the game for the Philadelphia Flyers. Here he is. Let's share it out. Let's go. And let's pick up the action in the neutral zone. Again, a team that, and also the Flyers struggled mightily to get the puck out of the neutral zone. And evident again tonight with another poor performance in the giveaway department. We'll get into that later. But let's pick this up. Flyers coming out of the neutral zone in a big old bunch. Can't stand that either. But Travis Konechny somehow, some way is able to get this puck down low. Kind of misplayed there by the Maple Leaf defender. And then we kind of lose the camera angle. But Dvorak is just going to fill in a hole here. Let's kind of stop it right there. We talked about this on the show about a bazillion times. Universe, will you explain to me why a defenseman or a defending team consistently at this level of hockey wants to go behind the net with multiple players? I've said it 1,000 times. when you're coming up through the youth hockey ranks and you're coming up as a youth hockey coach and you're coming up as a hockey official, you always look at that and with amazement, and you wonder why are they doing that. But this was a over pursuit by the Maple Leafs in a lot of different ways. When this play ends up, there's actually going to be 3 Maple Leafs behind the goal mouth. So 3 players decided to chase one guy with the puck behind the net, leaving a bunch of people open out front. Christian Dvorak is going to be the recipient of that, but a defensive breakdown in all angles for the Maple Leafs, but the Flyers do take advantage of it. There's Mitchkov picking it up. Look at Dvorak standing all alone out there as he's on the doorstep, and he was able to kind of flick it right on upper shelf there to Stars. Let's stop it here. So here we go. We got 1. We got 2. We got 3 Maple Leafs behind the net. See, again, I don't understand that. I at the NHL level, what in the hell are you doing with sending 3 guys behind the net? You're chasing one puck, and it's behind the net. So I would much rather, as a defenseman, or I guess in this case, he's probably the center. I can't really tell. Is that Austin Matthews down there? Kind of looks like him, doesn't it? He's out of position, and that's why Dvorak is standing all alone on the doorstep, waiting for a pass that he will bury to give the Flyers the early lead. So a defensive breakdown leads to this top shelf goal. Is that Austin Matthews making that mistake? Flyers are up. Is that 5? It's something 5. Oh, no, that's number 5. Hey, there's Austin Matthews. Jesus Christ, it's Austin Matthews behind the net. 1-0 Flyers. Dvorak with the goal to give the Flyers the early lead. It was his 3rd of the year from Gurbankin, his 2nd assist, and connecting his 4th. 1-0 Flyers early on, and things at that point, I guess, were looking pretty good. Now you gotta slap yourselves on the back. You got a nice early lead. You've been playing well, but that lead would not hold up well, because at the 6:16 mark, the aforementioned Austin Matthews would strike for the Maple Leafs to tie things up at 1. Let's bring her up. This is going to be the first of 4 at distance elevated shots that Dan Vladar just struggled with all night long. Now, this goal, I can kind of, once we see it, I can kind of give him a pass on this. It was a nasty little screen in the front by the Maple Leafs as they were really, they were pushing. Why? Where is it? Where's the damn thing? So they were screening. They were screening Vladar pretty heavily on this play. But let's get it going here for you. Again, I really need a producer in order to do this and make it like good. If the computer's going slow, I'm really kind of assed out, but I'm doing my best here with it. I do like breaking goals down. It's fun. It keeps me entertained throughout the course of a post-game show, and it's informative because we get to learn things about not going behind the net to chase one puck. So here are the Maple Leafs in their zone setup. Again, Tyson Forrester's down there on the ground. He took a shot minutes or seconds before this to the inner part of his thigh, and that's the soft, fleshy part where there's no padding. The underneath part of his thigh, and I've been hit there many times. It does not feel well, but he's kind of stunned right now. The puck will continue to be bounced around, and there's Austin Matthews. Here's the thing, and let's stop it here. I have no problems with the Flyers defense here. Absolutely none. They got the best player on the ice contained. He's got 3 guys with him. I have no issues with this. This is not a defensive breakdown. I've been very pleasantly surprised with the Flyers' overall defensive play this season. Rick Tocchet has made it a sort of a mantra, a philosophy, a way to do business by keeping everything off the net. And the Flyers have been doing that amazingly all season. It's been a very pleasant change to this team. But when you're dealing with one of the top 3 players of the league in Austin Matthews, you can't give him any space. But again, I'm okay with it because you got the numbers, you got the percentage, you got all that. Now, there is a nice little screen being set up right here. I believe that's Sanheim who's struggling to get around that thing. And this is going to be key to this goal as Matthews gets into position to take the shot. And there it is, just going through a mess of bodies, kind of handcuffed Vladar. As I said, yes. Distance, yes. Elevation, yes. But that was a nasty screen, and he had one of the best players in the league orchestrating that shot. So I can let that one go. But the Maple Leafs do tie it up at 1-1 at that point. It was Matthews 6th from Riley and Robertson at 6:16, and that was all your scoring in the first period. 1-1 is your score heading into the locker room. The Flyers did outshoot Toronto 7-6 in that period. But then it was pretty much all Toronto from that point. Again, defense played stout. Just got to get better goaltending, man. The Maple Leafs would take the 2-1 lead at the what mark of the second period? At the 8:14, so almost the midway point of the second period. Jake McCabe would get the goal. Let's bring it up. Where is it? Well, I just had it. What's going on? Why am I not getting these things to come up? I'm waiting for it to come up, folks. Bear with me, please. Just bear with me. It's one of the nights. Okay. Oh, there it is. There it is. It's popped up. All right, so let's get it ready to go. Sorry about that. Maybe I should open them all right now just so I'm ready. It's one of those nights, folks. But I'm going to deal with it. I'm going to work through this. You're going to get a goal breakdown because that's what I provide you. Not going to shy away from it. All right, let's talk about the goal. McCabe second from Tanev second, and Mascanelli his third at the 8:14 mark. Again, a snapshot, not a slap shot, but a snapshot from distance that just handcuffed Vladar to give the Maple Leafs the 2-1 lead. And I'm really frustrated about why this is not working for me tonight. It usually does, and it's not working tonight. So let's go on without it, I guess. I'm sorry. But that would give the Maple Leafs the 2-1 lead. And then around the 17:34 mark of the period, so the back end of the second, Nicholas Robertson would make it 3-1 Toronto, his third from Knives, and Tavares is ninth, and Knives is 11th assist. Again, another snapshot out from distance, elevated. This was a clean look that Vladar just messed up. That would be your score heading into the second intermission, 3-1. Toronto outshot Philadelphia 12-7 in that period. Coming out into the third period, early on, this was the backbreaker for Dan Vladar's night. Easton Cohen, his first goal ever in the National Hockey League at the 33-second mark of the period. Assist from Tavares to make it 4-1 Toronto, and that would be the end of Dan Vladar for the night as he was replaced by Alexei Kovaslov. It would be a slugfest, kind of mired in some interesting play that we'll talk about after I go through the goals. Tyson Forrester, though, would get the Flyers sort of back in this thing late, make it interesting at least on the power play. Finally, a power play goal. The Flyers do get one tonight, his fourth of the season from Zegras and Michkov at the 16:08 mark to make it 4-2. But then Kelly Jarnkrok would end the night for the Flyers with the empty netter at the 19:42 mark, making it 5-2 and ending the game for the Flyers. In the third period, it was the Flyers all over the Maple Leafs, 19-9, just could not find a way home. And the reason is we've gone over the reasons why they couldn't find the mark pretty much this entire post game. Everything's from the perimeter. Everything was wide, and there was just nothing in front for the Flyers either to get to, or Stars was able to move it away. It just, when you're able to pump 33 shots on net and you only get 2 goals, you got to take a look at yourself in the mirror a little bit, and the Flyers are going to have to do that for this evening. So 5-2, Flyers now fall to 6-4-1 on the season. On the night, they did outshoot the Toronto Maple Leafs 33-7. Flyers were 1 for 6 on the power play. Dreadful 1 for 6. Falling now to 7 for 36 on the season. 19% effective from the power play. They are for the year. Maple Leafs were 0 for 3. Flyers gave the puck away 17 more times tonight and only took it away once. Are you kidding me? 17 times they gave the puck away and took it away one time. And they blocked 11 shots in their losing effort tonight down there in South Philadelphia. And that is it. That is how you get 5-2 Flyers with the loss. a lot of the bad habits that we've been really concerned about with this hockey team have really kind of crept up. Now, the one play I want to talk about was the situation there in the third period. Matvey Michkov and Tanev come together at the right inside the blue line. Michkov, initially when I first saw the play, it looked like Michkov's elbow was up a little bit, kind of hits Tanev on the back. Tanev goes down, and I don't know if it was the hit that caused this, because I think the play looked a lot worse than it actually was in terms of the contact. Now, what happened when he fell and hit the ice, obviously I'm not going to speculate on that, but he went down and he stayed down. The medical staff came out. They brought out the backboard. They were able to get him on the backboard and off the ice. A couple of positives out of this. Again, I'm not going to speculate because I'm not there. I don't know. But it looked like they were talking to him on the ice. It looked like he was conscious on the ice. And I've been involved in these before. I've seen these happen. Everybody errs on the side of caution when something like this happens. You don't want to make an injury from something that it isn't, or you don't want to worsen an injury. So, the backboard, the mobile, keeping him immobile, that's standard operating procedure in a situation like that. I hope he's okay. I hope you hear a report here in a couple hours that he was discharged from the hospital and he's able to make the team flight out of Philadelphia with the rest of the Maple Leafs. But after they reviewed it, he was given a 2-minute interference penalty because, honestly, the hit was front to the back, and it was not a elbow. He ran into him. So it looked a lot worse than it actually was. The contact was not that bad. It was really minor contact. Maybe he hit him in the right spot or the wrong spot, or again, something happened when he fell. Maybe he hit the ice, hit his back on the ice hard, or slapped the back of his head, or cut or caught his neck. But obviously something happened that, put him down. But getting him off the ice and the fact that they were talking to him, meaning that he was conscious, means it's that they're all positive signs, as hopefully he will be able to return. Again, get that flight out of town with the rest of the Maple Leafs. So here's looking out for Tanev as he hopefully is not dealing with a bad injury. So tough loss. Absolutely, Joe Hale. They are tough losses, though. But this was a loss that's become far too familiar for Flyers fans and the Flyers over the course of the last 3 years. This team is what they are, and I'm not going to sit here and, sugarcoat that. But how much longer does that excuse work? Year after year, 3 years into this now, we have sort of de-evolved. I'm going to say it, de-evolved into a completely perimeter style of an offense. There's no net game at all for this team. There's no players on this team that can go up and play the net game. I'm not asking for 1995 John LeClair, Eric Lindros. I'm not asking for that. But I am asking for a blend of perimeter and a blend of, in front presence from this hockey team offensively. And you don't have it because you don't have the people. And I get that. I get the reason. I'm not questioning the offensive philosophy. You don't have the people. Well, when the hell are those people getting here? When are we going to start seeing some of those people to sort of help out this offense and its ability to score goals and to create sufficient and sustained offensive pressure? If I got to watch for the next 5 months, Owen Tippett shoot wide or clang it off the crossbar, or everybody shooting out by the slot, I'm going to go crazy by Valentine's Day. We got to get something going underneath. And I know it's not as easy as snapping your fingers. This team is what they are. They're a perimeter team. I hate that style of offense. Cannot stand it. I'm an old school hockey guy. I hate it. I'm not saying it doesn't have its place. And I'm also not saying that that is what the NHL is. But if you look at the good teams, the really elite teams, they do both. And they do it both pretty well. This team is one-leveled when it comes to its offense, and everything is outside. And they're not good enough shooters to be outside. It's just such a very confusing situation for this team as they continue to gain their offensive identity. So what a game like tonight shows me is this team still doesn't have the talent to be considered a good hockey team or a playoff hockey team. They are the little engine that could Flyers yet again. And I understand that. And I accept that. Don't know how much longer I'm going to accept that, but I accept that. Goaltending tonight, terrible. With a capital Vladar. It was god-awful. I'm not going to run him down for one game. He's been good. But the goals he's given up as as voiced by me, have been a concern because of the same type of goal, up and outside. If you get something elevated against Dan Vladar, you got about an 85% chance of scoring. And that's not good. That's not good. And tonight he was completely befuddled by everything from the distance against him. And if you don't believe me, and if you are you questioning my judgment about Dan Vladar and his abilities, go back and look at the last 11 games. And you tell me the goals he's given up and what kind of goals they've been. All of them are up, and all of them are from distance. So the cheat code is out on how to beat Dan Vladar. There's a reason why he was a backup goalie in Calgary. There's a reason why the Calgary Flames let him walk away. It's because of what he is what he is. Now, here, he's one of the best ones we have. I don't know what that's saying about us, but not a good night for Dan Vladar. And it's going to be interesting to see how tomorrow night, back-to-back, having to go back with Kovaslov, have any effect that has to be the fact that he had to play tonight. So we'll see that against the Calgary Flames tomorrow. And on the network, in a generalized situation, big day here on It's a Wrap Sports Network tomorrow. PNM in the AM at 9 o'clock, postgame Steel City, or pregame Steel City, I should say, postgame Steel City as well. The final word returns at 9. I will be going to a new time slot starting tomorrow, and then later on tomorrow night, Flyers, Flames, postgame, clear the ice. Final word on Monday, props, locks, and parlays on Tuesday, Flyers and Canadians postgame. There is no final word because I have the postgame, and then the rest of the week here on the network, as brought to you by me and all the fine folks that dwell upon here the It's a Wrap Sports Network. So Flyers lose tonight 5-2. Very uninspiring loss. Nasty injury to Tanev, and I hope he's okay. And I don't think it was as bad as it looked in real time. It looked pretty damn bad in real time. But when they slow it down, you see some of the angles. You know, there might have been some more going on with that hit. I don't think it was a dirty hit at all by Michkov, but definitely was a penalty. It was interference, and they reviewed it, and they didn't give him a major. They didn't give him they didn't match him. They didn't give him a misconduct or a game. They gave him a minor penalty for interference. So that tells you everything you need to know about what the actual hit was. But I'm not downplaying the injury. You never want to see anybody get hurt, especially neck, head, back. You don't want to see any of that. And I hope he's okay, and I hope he's able to fly out of town with the rest of the Toronto Maple Leafs a little bit later on tonight. That's going to wrap me up, folks. I hope you enjoyed this one. 5-2, terrible game, terrible loss, demoralizing loss. A loss that brings you back to reality a little bit about this hockey team, about what they really are. A perimeter-style offense with really no goaltending. So we'll see if they can rebound tomorrow against the Calgary Flames. We'll have you covered here with the Clear the Ice program. Mike Lauer will have you for the postgame, and here's a snapshot of next week's Clear the Ice. I will be back Tuesday on the program. Mike had you Thursday, and I'll be coming back at you a week from tonight, or it'll be a week from it's an afternoon game in Ottawa. But I got the Senators next Saturday, so that's your Clear the Ice schedule for the rest of the week. You guys have a great rest of your Saturday night. Benches are clearing in Toronto in the World Series. Make sure you're catching the end of that thing. And we'll talk all about that tomorrow night on the Final Word with Matty B. Until then, in the immortal words of Mr. Gene Hart, good night and good hockey.